President Biden made a historic speech this week that impacts college students across the nation. Stay tuned for more.
And the Census Bureau releases the first results from the 2020 count. More details in the lead report.
And a big race is happening in Kentucky tomorrow. Hear the details in sports.
And with the light rain we had last week, should we expect anything different this week? Find out more in weather. Newscene starts now.
Good evening. I'm Jillian Fortner, and welcome to this week's edition of Newscene. We start tonight with a look at India's devastating surge of coronavirus cases and the country's desperate need for oxygen equipment. The short supply is leaving many hospitals in India desperate. California sent over 1,000 pieces of oxygen equipment. Some of the equipment includes oxygen concentrators, pulse oximeters, and oxygen regulators. President Joe Biden in Pakistan also expressed solidarity. And in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo and his aides are accused of hiding the number of nursing home deaths for months. When asked about the accusation, the governor didn't deny them and tried to explain it.
It's not that anybody was trying to secret a number, because it wasn't about the number, it was about the accuracy of the number.
The cover-up is part of a state assembly impeachment investigation against the governor. Nearly 14,000 New York nursing home residents have died due to COVID-19. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, San Diego County has made getting vaccinated a much easier process. Appointments are no longer required at the county vaccination sites. The announcement comes as public health officials report 140 new COVID-19 cases. Sadly, 2 more deaths were also reported. The positivity rate continues to stay at an all-time low, keeping San Diego in the orange tier. And the first results of the U.S. Census are in. How are things looking, Vicky?
Thank you, Jillian. And yes, the U.S. population is growing at its lowest rate since the Great Depression. Just 7.4% since 2010, a drop in population growth compared to the years between 2000 and 2010. According to the new census results, the new data announced its latest in the U.S. population count.
The number of people living in the United States was 331,449,281.
Based on these results, some states like Texas gain at least 2 Congress seats. California and 6 other states will all lose seats heading into next year's midterm elections. This will be the first time since California will lose a congressional seat in its history. The release of these numbers were delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic and legal battles with the way the process was handled by the Trump administration. The Bureau also plans to release demographic data by August 16. Reporting for CTTV Newscene, I'm Vicky Pineda.
Thank you, Vicky. And President Joe Biden addressed Congress for the first time in his presidency, rounding out his first 100 days in office. The hour-long speech covered many topics such as the pandemic, the economy, education, and childcare. One goal stated by the president that could affect young Americans was his call for 2 years of community college for free. This is one of the many sweeping changes proposed by the president, who shared hope that a compromise can be made towards a common goal.
If you don't like my plan, let's at least pass what we all agree on.
Changing gears, a federal grand jury in Georgia has indicted 3 men of federal hate crimes in the death of Ahmad Arberi. The 25-year-old was killed by those men last February. All 3 are being charged with attempted kidnapping in Georgia. The McMichaels are facing charges of murder and aggravated assault. Local prosecutor initially refused to charge the men with murder, which sparked nationwide protests. And Governor Gavin Newsom is likely facing a recall this year. The recall effort for Governor Newsom has reached enough signatures to qualify for a re-election. Californians still have around 30 days to withdraw their names from the petition. If there are enough valid signatures after that, the recall election will move forward this July. Potential candidates are already jumping into the race, including reality TV star Caitlyn Jenner and former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer. And the happiest place on earth is finally reopening. Katia, tell us more.
Yes, Jillian, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure Parks are reopening today after being closed for 13 months. The parks will operate at 25% capacity and will initially only admit California residents. The first admitted visitors will be those who have both tickets and reservations. Groups no larger than 3 households may visit the park. Face coverings and temperature checks are required to enter the park. And Billie Eilish has officially announced that her new album, Happier Than Ever, is set to drop this July. The 7-time Grammy winner announced the news on social media this week. The new single, Your Power, was just released yesterday. This will be the singer's second album. Last month, Eilish won Record of the Year at the Grammys for her single, Everything I Wanted. And that's all I have for entertainment. Back to you, Jillian.
Thank you, Katia. Now moving towards news in the Persian Gulf. Tensions in the region between the U.S. and Iran are rising again. U.S. ships in the Persian Gulf were forced to fire warning shots at Iranian boats that came within less than a football field distance. This is the second time in a month that there's been aggressive activity from Iran in the Gulf. Officials believe that the rise in aggression stems from the assassination of General Soleimani, last in negotiating the Iran nuclear deal from 2015. And exciting changes are coming to our local tech industry. Apple announced that they will be expanding their San Diego workforce to 5,000 employees by 2026. There will be positions in the engineering field, including software and hardware. San Diego Board of Supervisors Chair Nathan Fletcher says this will be a tremendous addition to San Diego's innovative economy. The NFL draft is underway. Who scored big on the first night, Noelle?
Let me tell you about it, Jillian. It's a busy weekend in sports. The NFL draft kicked off yesterday with a first in 21 years. The first, second, and third picks were all quarterbacks, making this the first time this happens since 1999. This year's number 1 overall pick was no surprise to most, with Trevor Lawrence going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What was a surprise was the 3rd overall pick, Trey Lance, coming from North Dakota State, who came out of high school with no D1 offers. He'll be joining the 49ers this fall. The draft will wrap up on Saturday, just as another race is taking off.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
The Kentucky Derby is set for this Saturday at Churchill Downs in Louisville. The undefeated Essential Quality is favored to win the big race. His jockey, Luis Saiz, is the only jockey in history to cross the finish line first, only to be disqualified. Another honorable horse name mentioned includes Soup and Sandwich and Bourbonic. You can catch these events on ESPN and NBC. Back to you, Jillian.
And marine scientists have found a DDT dump site of the Southern California coast near Catalina Island. The discovery comes as scientists from UC San Diego Scripps of Oceanography are conducting a study of the area. High levels of toxic substances were found in the local ecosystem. Scientists say that they are not sure of the long-term effects on ocean life and humans. According to historical logs, the site has been an industrial dump since 1933. And a section of Historical Highway 1 is open 2 months ahead of schedule. The 5-mile scenic stretch along Rat Creek was hit by heavy rainstorms in January. This resulted in landslides and a 150-foot gap in the pavement, forcing closures of the roadway. Governor Gavin Newsom praised Caltrans workers who worked 86 days straight to repair the road. And it looks like there could be a beach day in the near future. Ben, tell us more.
That's right, Jillian. We might be gearing up to go to the beach pretty soon here, but for right now, things aren't looking too exciting this week. For our look ahead, we'll see patchy fog for the next few nights, though much won't change as far as temperatures go. And we can expect sun coming about halfway through the week as well. Looking now at our current temperatures, it's mostly clear across the board, with temperatures moving higher up as we move further east along the county. And the desert region is kind of a standout right now, with about 75 degrees being the temperature at the moment. As for the next 5 days, our lows will be fairly consistent. Saturday and Sunday will be mostly cloudy with highs in the mid to high 60s. Monday we'll see less clouds than before and a jump to the 70s, which will lead into our midweek, where we can look forward to clear skies and temperatures around the mid 70s. That's all I have for weather. Back to you, Jillian.
And have you ever wondered what fresh vegetables would taste like in space? NASA's astronauts on the International Space Station found out. Mission Commander and Space Gardener Michael Hopkins was successful in growing 2 types of leafy greens as part of a 64-day experiment. There are no birds or bees in space, so he used paintbrushes to pollinate the plants. Hopkins' green thumb has provided a very appreciated addition to the crew's pre-packaged meals. And that's all we have for tonight. You can tune into Newscene for our news show every Friday and find it all on sdcitytimes.com. And remember to follow SD City Newscene on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Thank you and good night.